On today's episode of the Progression to the Mean podcast, we have 4 players that we are buying in Dynasty Fantasy Football after the first week of NFL free agency. I'm your host, Shaun. I'm joined by my co-host, my good friend, my fellow knower of ball, Aidan Holler. Aidan, we just wrapped up our sells episode. It should be in the feed right now for those of you that if you're watching this, obviously keep watching this, but when you're done, go look at the players that we're selling. But Aidan, that was a lot of fun, man. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Yeah, it's always nice to pivot from sells to buys. Because buys are fun. It's just like, hell yeah, this is why I'm so excited. Whereas sells were just like, this is why you need to throw this guy in the garbage. So no, it's a nice change of pace. Yeah, I'm excited. We got some really fun guys here today to talk about too. I think these are 4 pretty good guys here that like you can make cases both ways on, but yeah, they should be fun to talk about though. Yeah, how you feeling, Sean?
I'm good. If you've been following our podcast for the past couple of years, these 4 guys are 4 guys we've all liked, all
Yeah.
mentioned pretty consistently.
Yeah.
Aiden's going to do a bit here that I thoroughly enjoy, and he's staring very hashtag on brand. So I'm excited to see Aiden do that. And I think my 2
Yeah.
guys are pretty on brand. If this is the first
Yeah,
time you're
like
rocking,
one and a
with-
half.
yeah,
Like one and a
yeah,
half.
yeah, it's pretty on brand, I'd say. But
Yeah.
if this is the first time you've been rocking with our show for Dynasty in particular, we have two buys each. Sorry, I'm in sell mode still, but we have 2 buys each. I go, Aiden goes. It's very simple. We talk through the risk and reward of trading for this player, and we kind of talk through potential narratives, angles, what you'd have to give up to get said player. We try and give you kind of a comprehensive breakdown, but we're going to keep it relatively light today, not super stat heavy, more narrative driven. But Aiden, I'm sure this is the first time that somebody has clicked on one of our thumbnails, decided to watch our channel. What should the good people at home be expecting for today's episode, Aiden?
Yeah, welcome to the show. Yeah, Dynasty is probably like one of our favorite things we like to talk about here on the channel. We do talk about all facets of fantasy football too. So if you're new to the channel, we like to talk about the draft. We'll be doing best ball, more Dynasty stuff over the summer. Redraft too, very redraft heavy, waivers, rankings, all the good stuff once we get into the meat and potatoes of the season. But for our buys and sells, we keep it pretty simple. Me and Sean both have 2 guys. We're kind of going to give you the kind of risk versus reward. Why do we think which way we do? What can you get for them? Some kind of hypothetical trades. So we're going to keep it pretty light. Kind of the common theme of the channel is just like light, friendly banter with the boys. Like we've got some data for you, but like for episodes like these, it's just these are more vibes that like this is why we're doing it, and whether you agree or not, that's why we're doing it. So yeah, let us know what you think. Feedback is always welcomed on the channel. We love talking dino stuff in the comments too. I know it's always hypothetical trades, maybe trades you've made recently for some of the guys we talk about today. So yeah, buckle in for the next, call it 30 minutes, and yeah, enjoy the ride. We're happy you're here.
Buckle in and enjoy the ride. I love that, with a little banter with the boys.
There
We're
it
going to
is.
start off here. We're going to go big game hunting. And we're going to start off here
Hell
with
yeah.
one of the more promising wide receivers going in the NFL right now, Jaxson Njigba, entering in his age 23 season, his 3rd season here in the NFL. He's the wide receiver 11 currently on Keep Trade Cut. The angle, really, why I'm pursuing a Jaxson Njigba trade is the wide receivers in the rookie draft are relatively weak, and the entire passing offense is going to run through Jaxson Njigba. I know they may draft a tight end at 18. They may draft another wide receiver, but this is going to be the most accomplished and the best wide receiver in this offense. And they're going to maybe 32% target share in terms of what they're going to route to Jaxson Njigba. And what you're seeing here is a potential reward. It's like borderline ARSB production for Jaxson Njigba. But the risk is pretty clear as well. The Seahawks offense implodes because they switched out Geno Smith for Sam Darnold, and you trade for a good wide receiver on a bad offense or with a bad quarterback, the AKA the Terry McLaurin, the DJ Moore. So the reward is you get ARSB production. The risk is you get a good receiver with a bad quarterback, which is never fun. I think there's plenty of good and bad. I can break down that a little bit more, Aiden, but what are your thoughts on JSN? Do you think he's worth the risk considering that Sam Darnold is now his quarterback?
I think so. To your point, it's going to be volume central. They have to draft a wide receiver first of all. Like what is it? It's like him and like MVS right now, right? And Jake Bobo, like, and that's no disrespect to any. Is that John Reese Plumlee, the quarterback? Okay, this is a crazy depth chart. But to your point, yeah, I think the risk is absolutely worth it with
It's
JSN.
crazy.
We saw what he did last year. The dude is so talented. Like we were begging to get him like to all three levels of the route tree, and once he did, he absolutely exploded. So I don't think Sam Darnold has to be amazing. Like there's no way he replicates what he did last year. There's just no way. But we don't need that. Like even if Sam Darnold passes for call it 3,500 yards, like that's still a huge win for JSN, given that he is going to be, like you mentioned, like the certified guy. Like there's no doubt about it. Who's going to be the alpha in that passing attack? So we'll see what they add, but I don't really think it matters as it's going to be a rookie, or they'll probably pick up another wide receiver here in free agency that's kind of in that like wave 2, wave 3. That's more just a complimentary piece. So JSN's awesome, man. Like the prospect profile was there. I think people were like way too negative about his rookie season. Just get like the year was so weird, but like this was a certified dude at Ohio State, out producing other like elite wide receiver
Yeah.
prospects that are in the NFL today. So we love JSN here. This is your guy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty team JSN. It's not cheap. It's
No,
not
wide
cheap to
receiver
get him.
11. Got to
But
pay up.
dude, he's 23 years old. This is a guy that's going to play good football for another half decade. This is a guy like this is a cornerstone for a dynasty roster that I'd feel pretty good about acquiring.
He's played 3 games without DK Metcalf, and he averaged 5 receptions, 104 yards, and a touchdown on 9 targets in those 3 games.
Yeah, I like that.
I know, different quarterback, different play caller,
Yeah.
but I just don't see a path where he doesn't get 120 targets over the next few seasons.
He would have to get hurt. Like, yeah, like there's no way he's healthy and doesn't get 120 targets. And I think that's modest too.
I think it is. I think
that's
140
modest.
is, if he
Yeah.
plays every game, is like 140. Like look, Darnold is clearly good enough to make wide receivers fantasy relevant. Like we've seen, he made Robbie Anderson relevant with the Jets. He's made DJ Moore relevant with the Panthers. He definitely kept Justin Jefferson's production super solid. He was really good with Jordan Addison. He force-fed TJ Hawkinson. So like we know Sam Darnold can get the ball to his targets. I just think the fear is with the Seahawks O-line. Like Sam Darnold struggled in Minnesota when they couldn't protect, and the Seahawks O-line is garbage. And maybe it, they rebound. They're still really young. Clint Kubiak has a better scheme. Then all of a sudden they're cooking with like a play action Shanahan style offense. But like regardless, like I think this offense will be better, more cohesive, and potentially more explosive with Clint Kubiak as the OC. And I think Jaxson Smith and Njigba, with his potential volume, is going to benefit greatly from that. And like again, I think the question you should be asking is, you're buying him at wide receiver 11. Like, where is the ceiling at to make this not an overpay? Because he could easily be wide receiver 15, 16, if Sam Darnold doesn't work out or Sam Darnold's mid. And then if, you hit the nuts and Sam Darnold is really good, what does he need to get up to? Wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6 to make this really worth it, in my opinion? So, like, I guess that's kind of the counter argument, but, dude, I think JSN's going to see a ton of targets, and I think he's a good player, and I think the exit of DK is a pretty big deal, and I wouldn't be. I think there is some concern between Geno versus Sam, but I watched a lot of Seahawks ball trying to make sure like what's going on with JSN, and Geno was a frustrating quarterback sometimes. Like, he's a good quarterback, but it'd be like, dude, just get the ball to JSN. Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
The line was such a mess.
It was. But, man, I think JSN's a really premier player.
I think
and
so,
again,
too.
the rookie draft this year is running backs and tight ends. And if you don't need either of those, I do think it'd be worth trading a high-end pick to go get JSN. Go get a receiver that will be better probably in fantasy than all the available options in this Dynasty rookie draft. So, yeah, that's my take on JSN at this moment.
I'm into it. It's just, young guy, proven prospect. Proven last year, man. Wide receiver 9. It's not like he hasn't done it. We've seen him do it. So, no, I like it.
Evan Engram, second guy we're picking up here.
This is an exciting one. Yeah,
This is a good landing
this
spot for Evan Engram.
slam dunk landing spot. When the Jaguars released him, I was like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. I was really excited to see him play in the Liam Cohen offense, just given like what we saw from Cade Otton last year. Like Evan Ingram's better than Cade Otton, even at age 30. I was like, hell yeah, I cannot wait to see what he dials up in this offense. So just looking at Evan Engram here, yeah, 30 years old. He is no young duck here going into year 9.
Spring chicken, young duck. Oh man.
Tight end 17 though. I'm pretty shocked his value has not gone up after the landing spot. Sean Payton is addicted to tight ends. Sean Payton is absolutely addicted, has shown time and time again he features tight ends, and he features them pretty aggressively. So beyond excited for that. Evan Ingram's going for a late second right now, dude. Like, who's going late second in mocks right now? Kind of just like a couple of names. You got like Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, Isaiah Bond, Cam Scatterbo, like a Quinn Ewers. Like some of those players might pan out. Evan Ingram's done it, dude. Like as recent as 2 years ago, he was the tight end 2, tight end 5 the year before that. Evan Engram is an absolute beast, and I do think him and Bo Nix actually match up really well. Bo Nix is not a stretch the field, 8 out you to death type of dude, and neither is Evan Engram. Evan Engram is crossers, mesh, quick hitters, like we mentioned. Like there's no reason he's not seeing 5, 6, 7 plus targets a game in this offense with Sean Payton and Bo Nix next year. So I'm pretty bullish on him. Like you can look at the age, but like I don't know. Evan Ingram's only been getting better with age. It took him, 5 years to really pop. If he doesn't get hurt last year, he probably pencils in another top 5 tight end season, making it 3 in a row. So I'm beyond bullish on this one. Tight end 17, and I know it's a really rich tight end class, but man, I am pretty excited about Evan Engram this year. There's a lot of guys ahead of him here that I would pick Evan Engram over.
I like Jake Ferguson, but come on, man. It's Pat Freiermuth. No way. Pat Freiermuth, no way he's going to outscore Evan Engram.
Dude, I'm taking him like aggressively high. Like both behind.
He's in this range. He's in this range right here.
Yeah, I think I would take him up to I'd put him like behind Likely.
He's in the Mark Andrews range.
Or behind Njoku. Behind Njoku.
Yeah, I'd say this Kyle Pitts, tight end 10. Give it a break, people. Come on.
It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
Stop it. I would take Evan Engram over in Dynasty over Kyle Pitts right now. Like it's never going to happen. Let it go, people. You look at this Denver Broncos depth chart. I'm sorry. It's Sutton and it's Engram. Engram is clear path to being the second biggest target owner. You have Marvin Mims too, who we're fans of for sure. Who knows if Peyton's all in on Marvin Mims, but we'll see. It's those 3. Like we saw Devon Vele have some productive weeks. Devon Vele is like a 6'5", 6'6", kind of slot wide receiver. Evan Ingram's going to take those snaps and targets.
That lunch is already gone.
Yeah.
Lunch is so firmly off the table for him.
Yeah, and Evan Ingram's better than Vele. But that's the type of role. I think Evan Engram is going to be used quite well in Sean Payton's offense. And Sean Payton's going to have his blocking tight end. Yeah. I think it's a good trade. And the value's there. Like, I think he's a little undervalued. Pat Freiermuth and Jake Ferguson. Like, we like Ferguson too. Like,
that guy's still there.
But, man.
I'm blanking on it.
Greg Dulcich? No, Dulcich got cut.
I was like, is Greg still there? No, they released him, right? Yeah.
Nah, Greggy's gone.
Yeah, they released him. Oh, during the season. I thought it was. Yeah. I thought he made it for the year.
Did Dulcich get signed, or is he like in the Canadian? Oh, he's on the Giants. Greggy Dulcich.
That's fun, and then he can have the resurrection like Ingram did. So he just needed to swap rules.
At least there was something to be resurrected from for Evan Engram. He scored 173 points as a rookie, which is pretty good. And then he was just buns galore here. But yeah, I think Ingram's a good pickup, man. Wouldn't be a bad sell time for Evan Engram either if you've got him.
But I think you wait for a hot start.
I think you do too. I think
because he is old. I think you wait for him to soar up into that like early second like round pick, dude. Like even in a tight end premium, like he comes out of the gate hot, like a late one or something. Like we'll see.
Could see it
All
for
right.
sure.
Yeah, talk to us about Jaylen Warren. We're just covering like the entire Steelers 2024 offense throughout
The
these
whole
last two
Steelers
episodes.
offense, yeah. Let's get nuts. I just put that together. We've covered 2023 Steelers. Jaylen Warren is somebody that I've been a fan of, on brand here. He's going to be 27 in November, age 26. He's entering his fourth year in the NFL. He is the RB 38 on Keep Trade Cut. That's peanuts.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Brothers. It's peanuts. It's cheap. What's the angle here? He's a good player who's finally going to get more run. That 2025 late second, early third, 2026 mid second for Jaylen Warren. Those kind of the price range here. I just feel like Warren, he finally could break out in a run first offense as the Steelers 1A option. This is similar to when, and I'm going to be careful here, I'm not saying it's 1-to-1, but when Melvin Gordon left the Chargers and it became the Austin Eckler show, it was pretty emotionally magnificent for Austin Eckler backers. I think there are some similarities to Warren's game to Austin Eckler, and I do think there's a potential to have like kind of a Eckler type explosion if all things go right. But the risk here is that the Steelers draft the running back in the first round, or they draft one in round 3 potentially. I don't think they're going to take one in round 1. I think the quarterback's in play. We'll see what they do.
Yeah.
And I definitely know they won't in round 2 because they just gave up their second round pick for DK Metcalf. So ideally, a third round pick is probably as good or worse than Jaylen Warren, and then a day 3 guy, like, come on. It's Bucky Irving and everyone else when you look at day 3 guys that have come out and really shown. So I think when you're thinking about Jaylen Warren, he's been efficient. He's been effective. Najee Harris is gone. Steelers' pass game could be better with DK Metcalf, which can open up more running lanes for Warren, make it less difficult for them to get yards on the ground. And the Steelers likely bring in a vet quarterback who's going to check it down, whether it's Rodgers, whether it's Russell Wilson, whether they draft maybe Shedeur Sanders, who's not necessarily mobile.
Where are they?
They're
like
18th
15?
overall, or
18th?
I mean, they're close. I forget, but they're in that Shedeur range. I think if Shedeur falls, he's like a decent landing spot for them.
Yeah, they're at 21.
21.
Yeah,
Seattle's
the
at
playoffs.
18.
Yeah, Seattle's
But
18.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't feel like there's that much risk because if you trade for him at RB 38 and then they draft somebody or they bring in J.K. Dobbins or something, it's like, cool, he's just the same exact player he was last year, and he's better than RB 38 on some weeks.
Right.
And then if you trade for him and then all of a sudden he's the clear 1A, he's going to go off.
He's going to shoot up. Yeah, it's only 26.
In a second-round tender from the Steelers, this is the same thing the Niners did with Juwan Jennings. It's a pretty hefty tender for a restricted free agent. So I think Warren's stock is going to go way up potentially after the draft, and it's not gone up yet. So you can get in now before the price really explodes. So, yeah. Man, I'm in on Warren. He's a good player, and if he gets more run, he's going to be really damn good in fantasy.
Yeah, this is a guy that I'm pretty excited about in honestly, like every single format. I'm excited to see like one singular back in this backfield, and hopefully they don't draft anyone high, but like we've seen Jaylen Warren's got the goods. Like we know he can run the ball, like we know he can catch the football, like dude's a yak machine. It just feels like he's always breaking tackles. So yeah, the price is really cheap for this. Like we typically recommend don't buy running backs right now. And this is not typical of us to be recommending a running back before the NFL draft, but like he has survived the first wave of NFL free agency. None of the running backs I would like seriously push him from the free agency class. Like they've already been signed. Like maybe there's some more bargain players.
Dobbins is kind of out there, but
yeah. But like it would take a high NFL draft pick to push Warren for touches, and I don't know. We'll see. It feels like they have other needs in terms of trying to splurge on a running back. So I'd be totally fine acquiring him. Yeah, I'm gonna draft him in redraft. Best ball too. He's gonna be cheap there, so I'm into it. Like the Arthur Smith offense, like love it or hate it, it runs through the running backs. It is a run first offense, and Jaylen Warren has a chance to be upwards of 250, 300 touches, which is super exciting. Like, I think it's time we see it with him. So, yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, he's a good player, dude.
He is a good player.
He's a good player.
It was always frustrating when they would like alternate like him and Najee, because it was like, ugh, man, like just let him cook.
He's in the same range as Tank
I would
Dell,
take him over
Ramondre
every single person
Stevenson,
there.
Tajay, Aaron Jones, Tony Pollard, and Jonathan Brooks.
That is so easy for me. Every single player on above or below him, I would take Jaylen Warren easy.
Yeah, and he's been rising too.
Tank Dell, that's sad. Sad.
Yeah, we know how that one is. Yeah, not great. All right,
Yeah.
all right, man.
All right. My guy.
Last one here.
My fucking guy.
Ingram and Christian Kirk is pretty funny. It's a good bit.
Yeah. So now we're covering both ex-Jaguars, who in my opinion both landed in way better positions than they were set up for had they both stayed in Jacksonville. I don't think you could have asked for a better landing spot for Christian Kirk and a better opportunity, given where he's at in his career. So just looking at Christian Kirk here, he's 28 years old, going into his 8th NFL season. Currently the wide receiver 63 in keep trade cut. So cheap. Probably kind of like a late second round pick, which in my opinion, hell yeah, I would absolutely do for Christian Kirk. So the bull case for him is pretty easy here. This is a guy that has produced at the NFL level, both in Arizona and Jacksonville. Like, we know this is a good NFL player. Going into Houston as the solidified wide receiver too. There's no one else. Tank Dell is not playing football this year. Stephon Diggs is still a free agent. I don't think they're bringing him back, but
they draft the rookie.
I doubt it. And then you still got, like, I don't know, you got Mechie, you got Hutchinson, like, there's some other guys there. But Christian Kirk is by far the second best pass catcher in this offense, and getting to play next to Nico Collins is just like a dream come true. Like having these two guys on the same side of the field is just going to be absolute matchup nightmare. So there's a lot to like in terms of pros. The easy red flag here is like the injuries have been a nightmare for Christian Kirk the last 2 years. 8 and 12 games. Like, is that father time? Is it just, unfortunate? I think it's been like soft tissue both times too, which is like also like a little worrisome. I know he's had was last year the groin?
Groin.
Oh yeah, that was
groin injury.
Yeah,
he had the sports hernia. Yeah.
So there are red flags here. Yeah, he's 28 years old. He's going into his 8th NFL season. He's had some injuries, but man, I'm excited. I'm very excited, and the price is so cheap. Like, I just read some of those guys at the end of the second round. Like, I don't know, bro. What, am I taking a chance with Isaiah Bond, or would I rather just have Christian Kirk? It's like, I don't know. I say Christian Kirk has a way better hit rate for you. So how do you feel about Christian Kirk? I know this is someone who I won't quit. If Keegan was here too, he would probably cheering for him as well. But are you as bullish? Do you see more of the red flags here, and I'm just blind?
No, I think this is a good pickup, dude. Like, if you're a contender, go snag him, because, like, again, you mentioned the injury history. He broke his collarbone in week 8, and he tore his groin in 2023, which was he was having a monster 2023 and got hurt. So, like,
I know that's
I don't know. It's not like we're dealing with like a guy who, I mean, he had a groin strain in 2020, so it's, he's had some groin injuries. But when you look at the Texans depth chart, it's interesting because going into the NFL draft, you're probably thinking they're going to draft a wide receiver in the first round, right? But after the mass exodus along their offensive line, and considering this is a deep offensive line class, kind of just feels like they're probably going to take a lineman. So I feel like this is a meat and potatoes draft. You take defensive lineman or offensive lineman. The Texans could use both, in my opinion. So I feel like Christian Kirk plays really well off Nico Collins. They take a tackle or a guard, and then potentially in the second or third round they add a guy. I think that Kirk slides in really nicely in this slot role, and man.
Him and Ingram could not have landed in better spots for their skill sets and where like they're both at in their careers. When Keegan texted us, Keegan said Kirk to Houston? I was like, man, that'd be a dream. But it had already happened. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, there we go. That's perfect.
It is a good fit. I'd say it is a good
Yeah.
fit with CJ Stroud in that offense.
If he can stay healthy, like he's a wide receiver too. Like there's no reason he can't be a top 24 wide receiver next to Nico if he's healthy.
Look, hear me out here. They're bringing in a Rams-style offensive coordinator, Christian Kirk,
In
in the
Puka
Cooper
role?
Cup role.
Oh yeah.
No, it's Nico in the Puka role. Christian Kirk in the Cooper Cup role. We just did this with Godwin. We ran that back turbo. I actually do think Kirk's going to be such a good pick in redraft. He's going like in the 9th, 10th round.
He's gonna be so cheap.
In
And
Dynasty,
you can be starting him
Laba,
every week. Yeah.
Laba second, late second, early third. Like, get frisky. I
Late
think you
second
could
for
easily
Kirk
get
is, yeah. I bought him for
Yeah.
more. I had him on my buys last summer. I think I paid more, but it was a funky trade.
He was he was expensive.
He was more
It was
expensive.
supposed to be arrows pointed up for the Jags, not tremendously down. But I think it's pointed up for the Jags now. Just
This
he's
is
no
the
longer with
last
the squad.
offseason I say that. This is the last offseason I say that. I need
With
it.
the Jags.
Yeah, they're like so firmly on the last strike with me. I gotta see it. I gotta see it this year.
You're not gonna buy Trevor like at will anymore. You're
I'm
not.
so over Trevor. I'm so over. I gotta see it, Trevor. Everyone's like breakouts going into 2025. Trevor Lawrence. I'm like, dude, he's like in his 6th year. We're not doing breakout anymore. It's like
He
talking
had
like-
his breakout too. He had his breakout. I know
know.
people don't want to admit it, but he definitely, I think, broke
Trevor
out
doesn't get
that-
enough shit as he should relative to the rest of that class.
I mean, he's like the only one. You got McCorkle is now in San Francisco.
He's the
Zach
only one that got a
Wilson's in
second
Miami.
contract, but like, did he deserve it? Like, or I don't know.
Did Trey Lance get signed yet? That's the question here. No,
Yeah,
he's on the
gonna sign
Colts radar.
He's gonna start for the Steelers. The rumor has it.
No.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm totally
that would
joking.
That
That would be fucking crazy if he got
That'd
rewarded
be
for that.
insane.
That would be
That'd
absolutely insane.
All right, we have. Let me see here. We have Jaxson Smith and Njigba, Jaylen Warren, and then we have our Jaguar bros. We've got Evan Engram and Christian Kirk. Got a wide range of guys. Got some cheap guys. Got some dart throws, and we
Three
got a big game
different
hunt
positions for
too.
you.
Yeah. We're all over the place here.
Cover our
Aidan,
bases.
thank you for hopping on. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. And we're gonna start talking the NFL draft soon. We got some scheduling updates and stuff to talk through, but we will get that out to you guys over the coming weeks. But Aidan, thank you for hopping on as always, and thank you everybody for tuning in. Until next time.